My name is Polong Lin. I'm from IBM, and today I'll be talking about this one-on-one guide, Watson in Salesforce, today and what's coming. So I'm a data scientist at IBM. I'm also a lead data science advocate, where I could talk a little bit about Watson, and today I'll be talking about both Watson and Salesforce, and a bit of Einstein as well, from someone from the Einstein team. So today's agenda, we have 4 components. First, we're going to begin with this explanation of the IBM and Salesforce partnership. Then we'll go into the one-on-one on Einstein, and then on some Watson services. And then we have a customer here, Morgan, who will be talking a little bit more about how she uses Watson and Salesforce together in her company, HearInsights. And then finally, I'll wrap up by talking a little bit about this platform that IBM has called the IBM Data Science Experience, to allow data scientists and data science teams to analyze data a little bit further than perhaps they could have. Great. So again, as perhaps all presentations need, a forward-looking statement there, just to make sure you understand. Great. So IBM and Salesforce. So for those of you who don't know, just a few months ago, March 2017, Mark and Ginny of Salesforce and IBM said they would partner together to enable a new level of intelligent customer engagement. And as Ginny said, within a few years, every major decision, personal or business, will be made with the help of AI and cognitive technologies. And Mark said, that the combination of Einstein and Watson will make businesses smarter and our customers more successful. And there are 4 initial pillars that are coming out of this partnership between IBM and Salesforce. So I'll talk a little bit, just very briefly, about all 4 of these. To begin, we have Einstein and Watson. So as you know, Einstein is Salesforce's AI, and Watson is IBM's AI. So more on these 2 AIs in just a second. Then we have the weather data. So last year, IBM acquired the weather company, providing a huge wave of weather data to IBM's already data-driven ecosystem. And then with this partnership between IBM and Salesforce, now Salesforce users will be able to use the weather data to build more insights into their platform and to help their customers succeed. The weather company is doing a session later this afternoon, also right here. And so if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the weather company and their integration into Salesforce, you come here at 4:45 p.m. today. The third pillar is this cloud integration suite by IBM that enables platforms, including Salesforce, to easily connect to data in other applications and organizations, regardless of whether it's in the cloud or on premises. So if you'd like to learn a little bit more about that, you can search for the section on your apps on the IBM Cloud Tools session, which will be here as well at 3:15 p.m. today. And number 4, of course, is the Blue Wolf services. So Blue Wolf is a company recently also acquired by IBM that helps companies with their Salesforce implementation, and more recently helping clients more rapidly deploy combined IBM Watson and Salesforce Einstein capabilities. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to drop by the IBM booth in the main expo area. The Blue Wolf booth is just right behind the IBM booth in the main expo area. So for this session, I will only be focusing on Einstein and Watson. And I think we heard some exciting announcements about Einstein in the keynote today. But I think it'd be great for us to kind of hear an overview of Einstein from someone from the Einstein team themselves. So let's give a round of applause here for a brief moment for James Harrison from Salesforce.
Great, thank you. How many of you have seen this slide before? Everybody, right? It was in the keynote this morning. I think that means I'm doing my job. I'm on the Einstein product marketing team. Really, if you want to go deep on Einstein, we have a section over here. We're going to be going into lots of different sessions on that. But the first thing I want to talk about is, what is Einstein? So since we announced the partnership with Watson, I get the question, is Einstein powered by Watson? Is it, a Watson engine? What's actually going on behind the scenes? So that's what I'm going to take a second to explain. And then again, if you want to go in depth, head over to the Einstein Discovery Center. So this slide, as you saw in the keynote, Einstein is AI in the Salesforce platform. So it's our own technology. It's a layer of artificial intelligence that uses automated machine learning to make predictions on your customer data. So if we think about how Einstein and Watson work together, Einstein delivers predictive insights from your customer data in Salesforce, right? There's some products that take in outside data sources, but the easy way to think of it is using it inside your org. So, for example, in Sales Cloud Einstein, we have predictions on your leads, like are your leads going to convert? And you don't have to do any data science to make that work. What happens is as an admin, you go in, you log in, and you enable Sales Cloud Einstein, and then it just starts making predictions using automated machine learning. So really easy to get started with Einstein straight on your customer data. But when I meet with customers and they want to talk about artificial intelligence, there's this whole world of things they want to do that's data outside of Salesforce. Maybe it still impacts your sales process and still has use cases related to CRM. But what if there's data that's industry specific that's stored outside of Salesforce in your own data lake or your own data warehouse, and you want to leverage that data to do artificial intelligence? There's all types of these custom use cases that are really outside of what Einstein's doing. Einstein, again, AI within Salesforce, and then Watson, this partnership with Watson, helps us let you accomplish all those custom use cases that go beyond Salesforce data. So a little bit about what that looks like. You've seen things like Einstein for sales, service, marketing. All of those are really plug-and-play tools that you enable as an administrator in Salesforce. So clicks, not code. And that data we're looking at is customer data in your CRM. It's also social data and then activity data like email and calendar data. So if you're thinking about predictions on those types of things, very likely that Einstein's going to be your best case solution, something you can implement on your own without data scientists or developers. But then we have this other section, which is Watson, and that's really what we're going to be talking about here today with some of the different Watson products. But really, if you think about industry data, on-premise data, custom data models where you really want to be hands-on with the technology, sensor data, and then, of course, the weather data we talked about, that's where we get into this world where Watson can really help you extend that. And I don't know if anyone saw the demo we've done on our world tour where we're actually leveraging both Watson and the weather data, and then also Einstein and the data within Salesforce to create a better customer experience. But it's a really incredible use case of going full spectrum using the Watson engine and all that external data that's not necessarily customer specific, and then using that to create a better intelligent journey for your customers. So these are the swim lanes I want you to think of when you're thinking of Einstein and Watson. And if you want to go deeper on any of this, just head over right here to Einstein. That's where we'll be talking about the customer side of things. And then to go deeper on Watson, turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you very much, James. So today I'll talk about 3 services from Watson that I wanted to highlight for this talk. So there's Watson Discovery, there's Watson Conversation, and there's Watson Voice. So I want to begin with Watson Discovery. So who here has just lots and lots of text files or unstructured data? I'm sure I would imagine that many of you have just repositories of lots and lots of unstructured data here or there. And so if you think of maybe like customer representatives, how can we enable them to find access or get access to the knowledge from this unstructured data in the easiest way possible? And this is where Watson Discovery kind of comes into play. So to enable people like customer representatives to easily query that data from unstructured data. So here's Watson Discovery Service, and this is just the UI interface. Here we can have different collections of our data where we either upload these unstructured data formats like text files ourselves or connect them to our own data. And it goes through kind of a process. You first begin with uploading the data or having that data from your company or from elsewhere. Then Watson Discovery will then ingest, they will clean your unstructured data. It will understand your data through natural language processing. It'll go ahead and store that somewhere. And then as a user, as a customer representative, you can go ahead and query that data. And of course, you get an output. So I'll give you a quick example of what that kind of looks like. Here's an example with a news data. So this is collecting news from, it says here at the very top, I don't know if you can see it, it says 22 million documents. So it's looking at the most recent news from 22 million documents. And here we see keywords like Donald Trump, United States, Associated Press, and lots of different sentiments that are both positive and negative there as well. So Watson Discovery Service applies this natural language processing and AI capabilities to go far beyond these simple keyword searches, as you can see on the left-hand side as well. You can perform multiple query types, including Boolean, filter, aggregation to discover patterns and trends and answers. And of course, you can add your Watson Discovery Service data to existing applications using REST APIs through these Watson APIs. So here's another example. This is when we're actually querying this data from these millions and millions of articles from the news. And here we can use natural language as well. So here we're asking the question of what is happening between IBM and Salesforce. All right? So what is happening between IBM and Salesforce as a very natural question to ask. And here you can see on the right-hand side, it shows you in readable, very readable font. We can see it's going through 17 million different documents, and it's showing some of the results there as well. And of course, it's a JSON format as well, so you can do everything here that you see programmatically, of course. There's also another component of Watson called Watson Conversation. And so with all of your insights from your unstructured data, you can now create an interface that takes advantage of normal conversation using Watson Conversation. So essentially, Watson Conversation is a chatbot creation platform. So you can start thinking about how you can automate perhaps a lot of the questions that your company may get from your customers. So you can imagine, for example, how do I pay my bill with your service, with your company? What are the store hours? Where can I find this, or where can I find that? So you put this all together in a single chatbot environment to automate a lot of these processes for your company. And there are tutorials out there where you can simply create a chatbot within 10 minutes or less using Watson. It's really that easy. So here's an example of looking for intent for finding a washroom or finding a bathroom or finding the location of a pool. All right, so there's lots of examples of people building chatbots very quickly using Watson Conversation. And then next we have Watson Voice. And this is kind of two parts, really. There's text to speech. So if you want Watson to kind of take text and vocalize that. And then there's also speech to text. So talk a little bit about both. So first, text to speech is very straightforward. Well, you might think it's straightforward, but there's a few more things that you can customize. And here's the rudimentary text to speech service. So like the other Watson services, it's an API, and it's pretty straightforward. All you need to do is write what you want Watson to say, and you'll need, of course, a speaker, of course, and it will vocalize your text. But this is pretty standard for text-to-speech APIs. So Watson takes this a step further by adding a bit of emotion, or adding a bit of tone to it as well. So here you can see, so this is an example when there's a customer complaining about a slow order, okay? And so Watson is responding to this customer's complaint. And you can set the expression, so express as type equal to apology, or express type as equal to uncertainty or good news. So here Watson is saying, I have been assigned to handle your order status request. And then I'm sorry to inform you that the items you requested are back ordered. We apologize for the inconvenience. So that's under the apology tone. And then we have another under the uncertainty tone. The items should be available in the next week or two. And then good news. Because we want you to be a happy customer, management has decided to give you a 50% discount or something like that, right? So that's how Watson text-to-speech works. You can take it even a step further if you want to customize the amount of glottal tension. So that's the tension in your throat, the breathiness of your voice, the timbre, the pitch, the speed, lots of different things that you can try out on your own. And as you can see, I've listed out here in the top right-hand corner the link to access all these Watson services, cocl.us/Watson. And as with all the Watson services, there's GitHub repos and API documentation for all of these tools. And I've talked about text-to-speech so far, but on the other side of the coin is Watson speech-to-text. So to discuss a little bit further, I'd like to introduce HearInsights Morgan Lai, the CEO and co-founder of HearInsights.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here. My name is Morgan. I am the CEO and the founder of HearInsights. I would love to take a really, really quick survey here. So raise your hand if you have meetings on the day-to-day basis. All right, almost everyone. All right, raise your hand again if you love taking diligent meeting notes. All right, only very, very few of you guys out there. So HearInsights solve the problem for individuals and businesses by helping them capture conversations and key information from their meetings. Very quickly, on the high level, without any additional software setup, installations, you can have HearInsights join your conference meeting, call HearInsights directly, or invite HearInsights into your calendar invite. HearInsights will record and transcribe the conversation automatically for you and provide you with the notes and digest at the end of the meeting. And our customers use HearInsights for a variety of different use cases across different business functions. We have customers using HearInsights to capture internal meetings, business meetings, or user interviews, all the way to sales phone calls, customer success meetings. So at today's conference, I kind of want to tell you about how HearInsights as a product and as a company is leveraging technologies from both IBM Watson and integrations with Salesforce. So let's dig into more of a specific use case. We'll talk about sales. So if you're a sales manager or if you are a sales rep like account executives, you will know that the hardest thing to get your sales rep to do is to get them to take notes. And there's a reason for that, because it's actually really, really hard to take down all the key information while being very engaged with your client. And because of that, lots of information just lost into the ether from the conversation. And so HearInsights helps solve this problem by standing in the middle of providing automatic recording and converting this audio phone call into text for users to much easier to be able to consume the information. HearInsights solve two problems automatically. One is providing a very easy to use transcript interactive UI to let managers or reps being able to recap their meeting notes. And the other thing that we help the sales manager to accomplish is greatly shorten the onboarding and the training time by being able to archive and save a lot of really good phone calls as a training materials for future use. So let's quickly dip into the quick demo and then see how we are actually leveraging IBM's API and Salesforce integration to help our users create the most amount of value. So this is HearInsights UI, and as you can see, we'll provide a transcript, recording, automatically extract out action items for our users, and then provide a set of keywords. So as managers or sales rep, they can quickly click into different part of the script and then being able to listen into that specific part of the conversation. So as a sales rep, without having to take notes during my meeting, I'm able to go back and recap and rely on HearInsights to extract out all the important action items to follow up with my customer. As a sales manager, instead of spending 30 minutes to an hour listen to a phone call recording to review the performance of my sales rep, now I only have to spend 5 minutes quickly review everything. As a manager, if I want to look into a very, very specific moment where an objections happen, let's say I want to hear about all the moments where expensive was mentioned, I'm able to do local keyword search and look into all the moments where expensive was mentioned by my client. And I'm able to give asynchronous feedback to my sales reps. And so now IBM Watson speech-to-text API provides us with such abundant amount of insights from the conversations. For the sales team, what they really want is being able to actually save and capture all this information back to their Salesforce account. And one of the things that you have to keep in mind is that no one loves doing data entry. And then so we are also solving these problems for our sales team. So this is the newest Salesforce Lightning Experience AI UX here. And then as you can see, under the opportunity panel, we automatically help our sales rep log all the phone calls they have with a specific client. And under detail, we have a specific iframe that allows any sales rep or account executives being able to go back, review the phone call without having to leave their Salesforce account. And then we are also saving all the transcript and all the keyword extracted into the Salesforce for our users. Now, as a Salesforce developer, you must be wondering, okay, how can I further leverage all this data to get a lot more insights for my organization? So I want to tell you guys about one very interesting examples that you can potentially play with. So Einstein just released a new API that allows you to do sentiment analysis, and IBM and Watson also have a sentiment analysis API. And then so as a developer, you can pass this entire conversation transcript into the sentiment analysis API, and then to understand whether a specific phone call result a positive or negative outcome. With all the phone calls that result with a negative outcome, you can automatically flag those phone calls and then have the sales manager review those phone calls later on. And I want to pass the presentation back to Paul Long because Paul Long is going to tell us more about how we can further utilize the data from HearInsights to give organization more insights from their client conversations.
Great, thank you so much, Morgan. It's a great use case of both Watson and Salesforce playing complementarily together. So this next section is on this IBM data science experience. And this is geared more perhaps to the data scientists or the data science teams for any companies out there who are interested in kind of leveraging insights from the more so the raw data and try to experiment and try to find new models around that data using IBM's data science experience. Data science experience is comprised of 3 parts. You can learn on IBM's data science experience through its tutorials. You can create and build your own models, and you can collaborate with your data science teams as well. So here's a quick demonstration of how we're using data science experience to help explore some of the data from HearInsights. So HearInsights, we have all these transcripts from our sales calls, but it can be a little bit difficult to summarize and try to understand what those sales calls contents look like. So as a data scientist, I can try to think of, maybe we can create something like a quick visualization of these calls, see if these word cloud visualizations are similar between these sales calls. And maybe as a data scientist, I could be thinking, hey, here we have sales rep number 1 with this call with their customer, and then we have sales rep number 2 with their customer. And in fact, maybe their contents of their calls are actually quite similar. So as a sales rep manager, I could say, hey, maybe sales rep number 1 and number 2, you should get together and come and sync your message so you have a cohesive kind of message from the company outward. Or it could be that they have very different content as well. So as you can kind of see in these word clouds here, we have this first sales call talking a little bit about amplitude and some other things as well, whereas the second one's talking about Salesforce, session, and SQL, and so on. So there's a number of things that are different between these calls, but allows data scientists to kind of explore that data by uploading the data directly into data science experience, connecting that data through data science experience to their tools or wherever their data is stored, and also to collaborate within their data science teams. So IBM Data Science Experience allows you to learn, create, and also to collaborate as well. So just to summarize the presentation, we went through some of the Watson APIs, the Watson services, namely Watson Discovery, to help you discover new insights into unstructured data. And then we also have Watson Conversation, which allows you to quickly create chatbots as a new way for your customers to interact with your companies. And then we also have Watson Voice. We have both text-to-speech and also speech-to-text, as we heard of from Morgan. For those of you who don't know, we also have this Cognitive Builder course at cocl.us/Cognitive Builder. This is a course that's offered by IBM and Galvanize to help your company learn more about Watson. So if that's something that you're interested in, please go ahead and take a look at that. And then we also talked a little bit more about Einstein as well from James. So here's a link to the Einstein developer page as well. And of course, HearInsights. So here, this is the HearInsights.com page. And then finally, we also talked a little bit about data science experience as a way for data science teams or data scientists to further explore the data that they gather either from Einstein or Watson or from elsewhere as well. So that's a wrap to the presentation. So thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you guys learned a thing or two about Watson, Einstein, Salesforce, and IBM today. Thank you. Great.
I guess we have 5 more minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes.